When I was growing up, we grew an enormous amount of fresh fruit and vegetables, and particularly herbs. My grandmother made all their own remedies. They were part of my childhood. When I started to suffer with eczema in my mid-20s, I decided that my grandmother, she must have had something going for her. So I decided to revisit all the things that she taught me and started to make the creams and things that I make now. Well, I moved up to London when I was 15, and I ended up in this publishing company with a whole lot of Australians who were a hell of a lot of fun. I really wanted to find out where these people came from. And then there was the Franklin blockade in the early 80s, and that was all over TV in Britain. And I was fascinated by this great green river. It looked like the Amazon. I was just absolutely fascinated with the greenness of the river, the depth of green, and the surrounding forest, and everything it looked so primal. And I thought, wow, these people are accessing this. They're able to get there. So I wanted to go there immediately. You know, my fascination with it just stayed with me for 10 years or so. I flew to Australia, I bought a motorcycle in Sydney, just traversed my way slowly down to Tasmania. But coming here, there were people by the side of the road who would wave at me, and I couldn't quite work out why. And I thought something was wrong, because in Britain, naturally, people wave at you when your lights are out or something is wrong. But it was just so friendly. I couldn't get over it. It was just amazing. Well, I arrived at Cradle Mountain and camped there. Now, this was, remember, my first time camping. I had dinner with a few other people in the campground, went to bed. I put my produce inside the tent because I was told to do that. Then the sounds started, and I wasn't prepared for this, as you can imagine. I had never heard wildlife like this before. I was terrified. So I grabbed my torch, which I lay there with this solid beam of light going up through like a beacon. Then I heard the mulching. So this possum, which of course I didn't know it was a possum, I was terrified, I'd never seen one or heard one before, was mulching the pears that I had in a plastic bag. Well, I just lay there quietly praying, you know, so wondering what the hell this thing was. So I finally managed to think, right, I just ripped the tent doors open and burst out. And there were all these wallabies just sitting there, looking at me. I rode into the Wild West. I had no idea what I was heading for, this tiny little town. But my bike failed whilst I was there, and the main wiring loom went. Well, you couldn't be further away from trying to get it fixed, you know? So, again, at the pub, the Hamer Hotel, went in there, met a few people, had a great time. And Snowy, one of the fishermen, let me sleep on his boat whilst he and his mates stripped out the entire wiring loom and fixed the whole bike for me. It was just wonderful. Well, I fell in love with leatherwood honey, and I decided to incorporate that into the products that I was going to make. I drove down to Arthur River where they harvested seaweed. I thought, okay. And it dawned on me that this incredible wild island was producing the most amazing raw materials that were in ready reach, which were not contaminated, were completely clean. And that's really important because the world is beginning to appreciate the clean and raw nature of Tasmania. And we've really, I suppose, distilled it into a jar. I was, working in my kitchen, which, to my flatmate's horror, I took over. I went down to the market, and again, friendly people. A young woman who sold fudge there decided to share the stall with me, so I set up my little card table, and my first $20 was made. I was just beside myself. I went to every market that was available. Did the Taste of Huon, we did markets on Bruni, because it was just me, my motorcycle, and whatever card table or whatever I could take with me that fitted on the bike, which was a lot, I looked like one of those Balinese rice cracker sellers, I had every bit of the bike was covered. The drive to natural foods was in full swing when I left Britain in 1992. But coming here, the response from people was quite surprising. They were worried about it. In those days, handmade didn't mean good. Handmade meant, whoa, can I trust this? What is this stuff? Is it witchcraft, People didn't understand that sort of stuff in those days. Well, I've stuck to my principles, which were that we'd make a product that is entirely 100% fresh and natural. But most importantly, it's not a kind of gel or synthetic product that you wash off into the environment, because that's very important. We don't want to pollute what we have here or anywhere else in the world for that matter. So everything we make is food. We make with only food ingredients, so it's completely biodegradable. That's what I feel really good about, is when you wash your hair with a shampoo bar, for example, you're using an entirely natural product that could be eaten. It's so safe. Beauty and the Bees is an integral part of Tasmania. It's an integral part of the quality products that come out of our island. People are beginning to realise that they are absolutely unique in the world.